Morning folks, it's your Sunday motivation time. A beautiful morning again. We've done well this year with the old weather. I'm dressed to go and do the Birmingham Fun Run shortly, which of course won't be fun. And as I'm a competitive bugger and it's a flat course, I'll be going for a personal best. So there'll be very limited enjoyment. It will be all business. The old man will be showing his running face. So a little bit today more on whys, really, in terms of why we do things and why I do what I do, I guess. Now, the reason why I deliver quite a simple message to people is because what I want to do is help people. So that's ultimately my sort of why, my purpose, why I do what I do. Now, some people come into sort of the fitness industry or any business to try and make money. And you can do that, I think, because obviously it's just mechanics. I think money is just a mechanical thing, as I call it. It is a reward for providing something to the marketplace. And that really hasn't changed for millennia, really. It's go to market, here's my goods or my service, and this is what I charge for that. So that's the mechanics of it. So I think that's sort of a byproduct. But really, and this links well into weight loss and fitness as well, it's important, is the purpose of why you do what you do. So when I talked to, I was talking to somebody last week about running and as an example, and you know, for a lot of people it's quite a hard activity. So for a lot of people it's quite a hard activity, but people do it because it gives them a reason to stretch themselves. So the person in question was like, well, why am I doing this? Because you could tell it was quite really difficult. And I've always got a lot of respect for that with people because they are stretching themselves. And the argument was because of the thrill it will give you from achieving a certain goal that person's aiming for. Which physically, the physical benefit of running, when I ran the marathon, the physical benefits were zero. It was actually quite physically detrimental, but it really was. It wasn't, I didn't, lose weight or gain anything from that, but it was the byproduct of it. So the reason why I do what I do in terms of the three particular messages that I give: consistency, do the opposite of what everybody else does, and make the tough decisions, are based around things that I did back in the day 9 years ago when I started losing weight, which became sort of my focus is now on helping people. Does that make sense? So when people come to me and they say they want to lose weight or get fit, when I've approached both things, because I did weight loss and fitness kind of at the same time, but I sort of moved more into fitness as the weight came off. It was really those three things that I did. So that's why I teach that message to people. It's not to be brash. It's not to be arrogant. It's not to make it really simple. It's just to say, well, actually, or oversimplify, sorry, but that's really the essence of the message. So the first one, consistency, because when I joke about, oh, how's that not turning up, helping you out, it's quite a facetious comment, but honestly, we think we've got to do things to the nth degree. We think we've got to do groundbreaking stuff. We haven't. You've just got to be consistent. So what I learned early on, particularly with the diet, was I found a system that worked and I stuck to it because it was working. So I didn't go all complicated and go, oh, what this, what that, carbs this, proteins that, fats that, 5-2 this, Atkins that, cleanse this, detox that. It was, well, okay, this is working, so let's stick to it. Let's be consistent and see where it takes me. Same with fitness. When I first started running outdoors, it was hideous. I mean, 3 and a bit years ago, I started running outdoors. When I first did my first half marathon in 2011, and there was a lot of mental battle going on, but I knew that I had to just keep chipping away at the distances to get me to 13 miles. So that's why I teach consistency to people, because it's what I kind of did, and most people come to me with the message of, well, I want to either lose weight or get fit. If you're looking to perform, you've got to be consistent. The second reason why I do what I do the opposite of what everybody else does, is because everybody else is going for that quick fix. Everyone else goes for the manipulative short-term deal. They go for the deal on it. I hear some amazing things. I won't go into a lot of depth, but I hear some amazing things, good and bad, in what I do. Some of the excuses I hear are it's worrying that we've created this world where people don't class health and fitness as a priority. And I'm not talking running marathons and doing stupid stuff. You don't need to do that. I'm very clear on that. Remember, I do a program where you can exercise 2 to 3 minutes per day, follow a very simple real food diet system with no supplementation, and still lose weight. So it doesn't have to be complicated. But you've got to look at what everybody else is doing, quick fix. They keep going back to the slimming group, nothing wrong with that, but they keep going back and failing, going back, because they're looking for that short-term goal. You've got to look at that if you're serious about this and go, that doesn't seem to be working. So just because it's popular, does that mean I follow that, or do I look at something that's going to work? And then the third one is make the tough decisions. And this is the one that I think grated on a few people when I delivered the message, because people want everything to be easy. They want everything to just flow. Life's not like that. It doesn't flow. Sometimes it's not going to go the way you want it to. You're not going to lose a steady pound a week. I had a couple of chats last week with people, and I said, well, what would you rather have? Would you rather just go, let's go long game, average £2 a week till next year, or average £1 a week till the end of the year, or average whatever in 6 months, so then if you get to, say, middle of next year and you are an average of £1 lighter than you were now per week, does that matter? Does it matter whether you do it in 6 weeks or 6 months, as long as you get there and stay there? But people keep going for this easy, quick fix culture thing, and there's a lot of people out there that will make a lot of money out of that, because their goal is to make money. So if the goal is to make money purely alone, that's it, without the purpose, they're going to sell you the quick fix, and you're just going to keep that sort of hamster wheel going. So that's why I say about making the tough decisions, because it's not a criticism of anyone individually. You can't just urinate in the wind, because you'll end up covered in you've got to make these tough decisions and say, right, what is the right decision that's going to get me where I need to get? And if I say to you, right, if you lost an average of £1 a week, if your goal is weight loss, between now and the end of the year, you're going to be over 14-15 pounds lighter than you are now. Now, if you did that and kept it off, would that not be interesting to you? If it's not, fine, you're in the wrong place. But if it is, that's a tough decision to accept, that it is long game thinking you've got to do that. Does that make sense? So the reason why I do what I do, my why, is to help people, and the reason why I deliver those messages is because that's what I did and I've always done. And I think if people just followed my example, 9 years in, kept weight off, and learnt from me, then it might be beneficial. We live in a crazy world where people, they've got all the information available to them, libraries, books, people, and we don't tap into it. We don't tap into these people. We follow, celebrities, TV, news, political, whatever. But we don't look, if we're trying to do something like weight loss or success or happiness. Happiness is a classic because you can study happiness. We don't go to the happy people and go, can I ask what you're doing that I can replicate? We tend to blame luck, we tend to blame circumstances, we tend to, a lot of people, you hear the classic, things are starting to look up. Well, why don't you look up? Why don't you look up, and why don't you get up? And then things will always look up, because they always do if you can look up. If you keep looking down, waiting for things to come along to make things look up, that's not a very good strategy to do, because life's gonna kick you sometimes. I mean, I get some amazing things said to me, compliments. I get clients saying, last week, it's great to hear your voice again, thank you for your support, thank you for everything you've done, blah blah blah. But then I also get the other end of the coin, you're this, you're that, you're these names. I'll get called all the names under the sun just because I'm me, and I won't apologise for that. Some of the excuses I hear are really sad. People putting off health and fitness completely because they've got more important things to do. Well, how on earth are you going to be able to live your life fully if you can't focus on the thing that makes the difference? And I understand it, but come on, guys, hey? But that's what I hear. But I also hear the good stuff as well. So it is a balancing act, and you've got to go through those things. So let's get back to the process. Consistency, do the opposite of what everybody else does, and make the tough decisions. I promise you, if you do those three things with the right support and guidance and coaching, you pretty much be successful. That's all I've done. If your goal is weight loss primarily, yes, and fitness as well. So I lost 4.5 stone, as we know, but I also then done things like run marathons, half marathons. I've beaten PBs. I'm going to go and try and do a PB today. I'll say try, I'm not going to say yes, definitely. I've got a feeling I'll do it. Officially it's 44.50 odd. We have got an unofficial 44.44, but can't really count that because of timings. So I'm going for a PB today, and that's great, but that's the same sort of principle, consistency. Do the opposite of what everybody else does. It's Sunday, I didn't go out drinking last night, because I've got to go and do a run today, that type of stuff. Nothing wrong with that, but that type of stuff. So, and then the final one is make these tough decisions. It's going to be quite a warm day. It is a tough decision to go and do this, but I know what it's going to give me. So, consistency, do the opposite of what everybody else does, make tough decisions. One of my greatest fears is that people are going to come to me eventually and go, do you know what? You were right and I failed. Do it now, guys. Make the decision today. Consistency, do the opposite of what everybody else does. Make the tough decisions. See you soon.